Yes, I cut the intro a little short. I just wanted to catch that GO train in action. That's a westbound GO train rolling into Union Station. Let me just check to make sure everything is up and running a-okay. Yes, all right. Audio working, video working. Mark M is here. Robert Spite, Alicia Lewis, Vivian Johnson, Crikey, Juan, Jillian, John Subash, Lavillian Byler. I'm sure I'm mispronouncing that. Canada, Leander, Tavane, I Like to Walk, Marge, and everyone else. We are already at 73 viewers. Thank you so much for tuning in to this. What the heck day it is? Is it Wednesday, September 17th is the date. It's 12:42 p.m. and the temperature is a very nice 22 degrees Celsius, and I'm here at a somewhat busy CIBC Square Park. Robert says, Johnny doing a Mountain Dew commercial. I don't know about that, but I'm doing whatever this is, but thank you for tuning in. Let me just make sure I've got my backpack all zipped up and everything is squared away before we start meandering around the city. I don't know how long we're going to go live for today, but every once in a while, usually once a week or once every 2 weeks, I like to skip posting a morning live stream or a morning video, and I go live instead. And that would be what we're doing today. And I just recorded a video that finished up here at CIBC Square Park. That one will probably be on the channel for Friday or Saturday. But let's go get a view of the tower. Canada says it's Wednesday, my dudes. What is in store for Wednesday? I think Kevin Gausman is pitching tonight versus the Rays. I think it's a 7:05, not 7:35 start. Despite being victims of one of the worst replay decisions of all time, if not it's got to be the worst replay decision of all time. Last night, a blatant fan interference on a ball that clearly would have been caught was ruled both fan interference and a home run. Two contradictory things. Cost the Jays 3 runs. Of course, the replay office in New York, of all places, would make such a horrible decision. But the Jays hung on to win 6-5. Today at 2 p.m., the federal rate cuts will be announced in the U.S. That'll have a big impact on the markets. Line will go up or down for sure. Did CIBC move their offices and trading floor from Commerce Court? I don't believe they did. And I think there's even talk of building a third Commerce Court tower. There's Commerce Court North, the original Art Deco skyscraper, and Commerce Court West, which we cannot see because Brookfield is blocking it. And this is the third CIBC Square office. They've already got lighting inside. So where do you guys want to go? Do you want to go south to the lake or north through the financial district? Let me know. I wish I could do a proper poll on these live streams, but I don't have a plan. I just wanted to hang out and do a live stream. And I thank you so much for tagging along. We're already over 100 viewers and I just pressed go. If you want to join in on the chat, you do have to be a subscriber of the channel, but it doesn't cost you anything. And we've got one of the best damn communities on YouTube. Vivian says north. Teeny says lake. Gaby says lake. Lake. South to the lake. All right, how about we go south to the lake and check out Harbor Square Park, because I did the Harborfront somewhat recently, and then we'll loop around and we'll come north. So we'll do both. How's that? Vivian voted to go north. Alicia voted to go north. So there is some sentiment to go north. So we'll start off going south and then we'll turn around. We'll go down Bay, maybe up York or up Simcoe. That park I started off at is a public-private park. It's a public space, but it's under private control. And originally, they were kicking people out for recording there. But those days are over. As long as you're not causing a nuisance, anyone's welcome up to that park. Bring your camera. Go west, life is peaceful there. One of the greatest karaoke songs of all time. Oh, it is an absolutely perfect day. 22 degrees Celsius, gentle breeze, plenty of blue skies and sun. I will take this over just about any other kind of weather we have all year. So after this, it just gets colder and more miserable. And it's starting to really get dark early. We're gonna have some real cold snaps soon. There's a look north up Bay Street. Chris Lauer, welcome to Silver Tier. Chris Lauer. Thank you so much for joining the ranks of channel membership. Chris Lauer, thank you. You can go to the community tab and see prior member updates, and I post members exclusive videos once or twice a month, and sometimes I share things to members ahead of time, like where my next trip will be and that sort of thing. Thank you, Chris Lauer, for the support. Normally when I go south here, I'm on the other side of Bay Street, so let's stay on this side. Teeny Toon says 29 degrees here in London. Craigie says going to lose my number one status, but lunch awaits. Womp womp. As we wait for the light. Simon says, I used to work at Scotiabank Arena 2 years ago in the concessions area as a chef. Neat. I watched a pretty neat video that just popped up on YouTube about the history of Exhibition Stadium this morning. That was pretty neat. There wasn't really any info in it that I didn't already know, but it was still enjoyable. Second Cup and Pita Pit. So we are in the South Core district. A lot of people out on the patio. Sneak down from the office, have a nice cold beverage and your lunch. The old Toronto Series channel is great. It is. Winds are here. What a beautiful day here too, says Maxine. There's the South Core blocking most of the CN Tower. That's the Miller Tavern on the left. Bambi Deer says just going out, can't stay, but have a lovely walk. Well, enjoy your day. I believe up in Scotland. Harbor 60 versus Jacobs versus Barbarian, says RD. You could throw Morton's in there as well. I haven't been to all the high-end steak restaurants, but I've been to all those ones. You all know which one I would choose. Or not, so the one I would go to is Barbarians. To me, it's kind of wild. There's people wearing sweaters and coats out. This is shorts and a t-shirt weather. Look at that crumbling asphalt. So we're gonna head down to Harper Square Park and then loop around and either head up Simcoe or York. I've done Spadina and Bathurst enough recently. Hey, there's only one YouTube. Is anyone in the chat subscribed to that Google One with Gemini? It's like $27 a month, but I'm thinking of changing my ChatGPT premium subscription to Google. It seems to have a lot more to offer. I certainly don't want to be paying for both. There's the Westin. Brad and Marie Palmer's favorite hotel to stay at when they visit the city. Some people say no. Although I asked Gemini to make me an image that was 16 by 9, and it made it in like 1 by 1 in a square aspect ratio, and then I said, hey dummy, I asked for 16 by 9, can you fix that? And it apologized and said, here you go, I fixed it. And it didn't fix it. So that gave me a moment of pause. Greg says, what did I think of the interference call last night? I've already weighed in on that near the start of this live stream. I think it was one of, if not the worst replay review sent to the head office in New York I've ever seen. How can it be both fan interference and a home run? If the fan interferes, that means it's a live ball in play. And if it's a live ball in play, how can it be a home run? And even though that is a minor league stadium that doesn't have all the proper camera angles available, that's really Major League Baseball's fault. They knew they were going to be playing there well in advance. They could have equipped it ahead of time. And even then, there were still sufficient angles to easily determine that was not a home run. They should have either ruled it a catch, or if they didn't think he was going to catch it, give it a ground rule double. Or put the runners wherever you think they would have advanced to. But calling it a home run with fan interference. Just doesn't make a lick of sense. If that call infuriated you, you and every other person watching baseball who wasn't betting on the Rays. Math Doctor says, how do you do, Blue Jay fans? There's the giant picnic bench. Greetings, Estelle. Greg says game ended being way closer than it should have. I kind of disagree with that. Because my thinking is, as soon as you make a bad call, even if it's just a bad strike call in an at-bat, everything that happens from that moment on is completely different, and we have no idea what the outcome would have been. Certainly statistically, the Jays were more likely to have won by a much larger and safer margin, but there's no way to know that for sure. It's like when the announcers call back to an error in the second inning and say, oh, that cost them the game. And it's like, you have no idea of knowing that. The butterfly effect is a real thing. That's why if I went back in time, I would never want to touch anything. If you went back 200 years and made the slightest change, everyone and everything today would probably be totally different. There's a look over at the Portlands. Christo says the problem with baseball, other than the obvious reasons, are the number of games per season. I like the fact that it's such a grind. And I think it's about time they implement automated balls and strikes. Fisher, Dominguez, or Yasavage for closer in the playoff run. Well, I think putting a rookie who just got to the show in high leverage closing situations is not the best move. But he certainly has closer material or closer stuff. There's the Toronto Islands. And about 3 weeks ago, I took off on a porter plane from Billy Bishop. I'm invited to oh, that's neat. Sorry, I just got an email. From a TV station here inviting me to a screening of something. I'll read that when I get home. Oh, but they've roped off this part of the park, unfortunately. Greetings, Sweet Pea. Park area closed for maintenance. They are replacing the boardwalk. Pretty distinct difference between the old boards and the new ones. Christos loves saying Billy Bishop. BB. The soon-to-be tallest building in all of the land. Getting built piece by piece. Lee is here. Good afternoon, ladies and gents. Just thought you'd pop in and join the convo. Hope you're doing well. Looks like lovely weather on that side of the world. Thank you, Lee. The weather is certainly just that.
Faster than me, Jacob.
We're taking out the old boardwalk planks and putting new ones in. There goes some water taxis. It comes in waves. Ben Johnston, not Ben Johnson, the briefly world champion sprinter until he was busted for roids. Sam says one of the things you miss about Toronto. Just check one thing here. Greg wishes we could have this weather year round. I wouldn't hate it. How nice would one of these units be? Get a nice big balcony, decent privacy overlooking the lake. Oh man, that would be amazing. Hey, Jeanette is here. Greetings, Jeanette. Thank you for dropping in. This is where I would always lose connection whenever I'm on just a Rogers connection. It would always get really bad. I'm using Rogers and Bell right now, and we're at Bell 95%, Rogers 5%. That fluctuates, and it gives priority to the stronger of the two connections. So from a technical point of view, we're able to maintain full quality on this little stretch of the boardwalk. That's why I use multiple providers. Often, if there's a weak spot for one, the other one will be decent enough. And it looks like the boardwalk here has been redone on this side. Christo says, Rogers satellite worth it? It's, I think there's a lot of latency, so I'm not really sure. Johnny, will you be checking out the Thailand festival this weekend? That might be as close as I get to Thailand. I don't know. I didn't even know about it. If by Thailand festival, do you mean a few vendors at Nathan Phillips Square selling Thai food and a whole bunch of vendors selling other things? Or is it an actual Thai festival? All right, let me ask Google. Where is the Thai festival this coming weekend in Toronto? Let's see what Google says.
The Thai festival will be at Sankofa Square, formerly Yongey Dundas Square, this weekend, September 20 to 21, 2025.
At Nathan Phillips Square? That was a horrible answer. You mean Dundas Square, formerly Yongi? It doesn't know how to pronounce young? So that's even worse than a Nathan Phillips Square festival. That doctor says, yep, Young and Dundas. Yeah, we're live.
Live? Are you Japan?
Johnny.
Johnny? Oh no. Because I'm on YouTube, I normally have a friend that walks around, so I'll step on TV.
Yeah, I know him.
You know him? Okay,
Yeah,
nice.
awesome.
We're Food for Real. Give me your thing, I'll add you.
All right, you don't mind. Just ran into a friendly dude here. Just one second.
This is our channel, Food for Real.
Oh, awesome.
So I'll just add you. Give me your name. Give me your channel.
Johnny Strides.
Johnny Strides.
There you go.
Right?
That's me.
Nice.
How to find a person's
Oh, you don't have premium.
Huh? No, I don't have
You gotta get premium.
No, we just started in January because we never really
Yeah.
did YouTube. So she wanted a YouTube channel, so we started.
Awesome. Well, say hi in the chat if you want.
All right, we
Leave a
will.
comment. We'll check your channel out.
All right, thank you.
Awesome. Nice to meet you.
All right, you too.
Friendly dude. And he knows Sapand, another friendly dude. There's the Billy Bishop Airport. And we can see two ferries making their way back to the Jack Layton Ferry Terminal. In person, like and subscribe. Yes, it was. There's another one. Alicia Lewis with the super chat. Alicia Lewis, thank you so much for the support, fellow Midtowner Alicia. Are you excited for the Shake Shack coming to Midtown? I gave a little sneak peek of that in yesterday's video. Frankie, THT Inc. Water Taxi. So that is Harborfront across the way, but we're going to be making our way north. There's the friendly dude we just met. Food for All, Travel, Food, or A&L, Travel, Food, and Adventures. Glad to be here. Welcome aboard. It was nice to meet you. Hope you're enjoying this beautiful day here in Toronto. As my voice starts to cut out. All right, so we're gonna start marching north. And suddenly I'm thinking about what I want to have for lunch. Jason says, what an absolutely gem of a day for a walk, Johnny. It is. Cy Young, Gosman versus Seymour, 7:05 first pitch. Yeah, I thought they held the games at 7:35 in Tampa because they want it to be cooled down a little bit. But tonight is 7:05. Hopefully there's no blatant fan interference, turned home runs that the Rays hit tonight. Otto says, hi there. Just wanted to pop in and say hi. Loved your Parkdale video. I lived in Parkdale for 12 years and it was neat to see where I lived on YouTube. Well, thank you. Glad you appreciated the video. I've got another neighborhood exploration in the works for tomorrow. It's all uploaded and ready to go. I just need to finalize the thumbnail. So what do you guys want to see? York Street or Simcoe Street going north? York will be busier, but Simcoe we've covered less. York or Simcoe? I'll just give you guys a minute to weigh in. Mimi says, hey Johnny, lovely to be by the lake in the sunshine. It's going to make you feel better. It's always good to catch some vitamin D by the lake, courtesy of the sun. Hey, Jenny Krutzkamp is here. Afternoon, Johnny and all. Beauty of a day out there. It is. And greetings, Sakina. These morning and daytime streams always get off to a little slower of a start, but once they get rolling, things pick up. We've got a vote for Simcoe. A vote for Simcoe. Jeanette says York. Vivian says Simcoe. Zach says York. I think Simcoe is winning slightly. All right, Leander just settled it. We're gonna go over to Simcoe. Sorry, people who voted York. Wendy dropped in a vote for Simcoe. Thank you. And thanks to all 300 or so of you for tuning in. Howard Charco is here. Says, cheers, Johnny Strides and Mods. Keep on trucking. Thank you, Howard. That's got an 8-bit pixel art vibe to it. Vlade says, hey Johnny, this is Vlad, fellow Canadian living in Uruguay. Thanks for streaming and showing the city. I was actually there about 3 weeks ago visiting my family. Keep it up. Well, thank you, Vlad. Yeah, Jenny K. The only question is, will Bo Bichette be playing on those playoff teams? The good news is, if he's not, or if he's not good enough to field, I think Barger, Clement, and Jimenez are a hell of a infield overall, and throw Vladdy in there too. Don't normally think of your right fielder as an everyday third baseman, but I think Barger could pull it off. Batista could play third back in the day as well. Both of those dudes with cannons for arms. go by Drake's estate, that would be very, very far from here, up in the bridle path. I would not have the battery to make it there, even though I have a battery pack on me. All right, this is Lower Simcoe. Well, you guys voted for Simcoe, so we'll take this north a ways. Austin says, I've seen you on the news. Hopefully for something good. I've been on the news a few times. There's the look along Queens Quay Street. I was watching a video by a YouTuber who lives in Toronto, and he was doing like a condo hunt, and he checked out some units in this area, and he kept referring to it as Queens Quay. I was like, what? You live in Toronto and you're saying Quay? Austin says it was just about how I walk. I think that streetcar honked at me. I think it saw me not really paying attention, looking like I could step forward in front of it at any moment. I wasn't going to. And I think honking there was the right thing to do. Yeah, Q-U-A-Y is key, not Quay. And he said it multiple times in the video. I think his name is Siobhan Williams. Dude is looking at 2-bedroom condos, luxury condos for himself at like $6,000 a month. It's like, dude, spend half of that and put the other half away. Your future self will be very grateful for that. But still, it was a cool video. He checked out Aqua Luna on Queens Quay. There was one in the St. Lawrence neighborhood he checked out. That was pretty cool. And a tower down here. Have I been to the new park downtown in the Portlands? Yes. I did a video and live stream there shortly after it opened to the public. I think Henry beat me to it. Look at all that glass. Do I ever see trash on the streets of downtown Toronto? Of course. But not that any trash is ever acceptable, but I would say it's an acceptable amount for the city this size. JP says those condos he was looking at were not worth $7,000 per month. Yeah, there was 2 he saw that were like $7K a month, which is bananas. For $7K a month, I could rent my place, pay all my bills, travel abroad once a month, eat out almost every day, and still have money left over to save. And he's spending that just on rent? That's bonkers. Michelle Gray, good afternoon, Johnny and everyone in the chat. How is everyone doing today? I have the day off. Michelle Gray, good afternoon. Glad to see you in the chat. Hope you're doing well. Trey says, I agree. I'd pay $3K max. Maybe I should meet up with some realtors and do some Toronto real estate tour videos. I've had a few reach out to me, and I always thought maybe they're just trying to like drum up clients. But you know what? So what? It's a two-way street. They can get some exposure, I get some content, so maybe the next time that happens, I'll take them up on it. Oh, I'm talking about Siobhan Salmon. He just moved to Canada a few years ago, so he probably doesn't know how to pronounce the names. He also doesn't know how to obey the speed limit. He's got another channel of him just ripping ridiculously fast. Sorry, I said Siobhan Williams, it's Siobhan Salmon. Sorry, guys. I'm not subscribed, but his stuff pops up into my feed and I watch it every once in a few months. I should mix up the content. Yeah, my own apartment tour did really well. I've done 2 of those now, one on this channel, one on the other channel. Selling Sunset, Johnny Strides edition. Yes, let's hire a bunch of beautiful, extremely catty, quote-unquote realtors and have them gather around a small room every day on their MacBooks to chat and gossip amongst one another. That's really a realistic portrayal of how the real estate industry works, I'm sure. I mean, it's an entertaining show. That's about all it is. Trey says when you move to Toronto, you pronounce Spadina as Spadina. Yeah, until you hear it said a few times by other people for it to like click in. I would say it's not too uncommon to make those mistakes. We'll check out this little park briefly here. And then we'll continue heading up Simcoe Street. There's the roundhouse straight ahead. In the summer, this area is full of tourists and locals. There's a Steam Whistle Brewery over there. Wait until he gets his McLaren. I'm not gonna like that. Yeah, I'm not a fan of people using our roads as test tracks. Chris says, are Canadians still upset with America over the Trump tariffs? If you think it was about the tariffs, then you don't really have a handle on the situation. People aren't as openly upset about it as they were. We've just kind of adjusted our spending habits and our travel habits. Travel to the States is down like 30%. I went from being an Amazon addict to picking everything up myself and carrying it home. But I know some people that are warming up to the idea of traveling to the States. And I guess I am too a little bit, but there's definitely been a lot of lifestyle adjustments. That's the best way to express your displeasure, right? Vote with your time and your wallet. Hey, the Sky Dome's open. But yeah, the tariffs, that's really just Trump taxing his own people. And then saying that the foreigners are paying for it. It's like, no, you are paying for it. Michelle says, beautiful day here in Calgary as well. We just like Toronto, or just like Toronto is today. Sounds awesome. It is such a beautiful day. You could just come to these open spots and pan around all day. How nice they are. There's a cool reflection of the CN Tower, which stands for Canadian National. Yes, a railway company. Math Doctor says visitors to Las Vegas are down 11% year over year. Well, Canadian trips are down 30 to 40%. $876 Reacts says, speaking of adjusting our budgets because of tariffs, how do you budget as a YouTuber when you only get paid once a month? The same as, I've had jobs where I've been paid weekly. I've had jobs where I've been paid twice a month. And I've had jobs where I've been paid bi-weekly. And it's exactly the same. It doesn't matter. Annually would be a little bit of a stretch, but there's no... I guess I've worked my whole life, so I'm in a position where I'm not paycheck to paycheck. I try to be about 5 or 6 months ahead in terms of having liquid cash on the side. In a high investment vehicle, of course, or a high interest, getting me at least 4% or so, but yeah, there's really nothing to budget. I had a big credit card debt and student loan still when I moved to Korea when I was 27. And I just put my head down in my first 6 or 7 months of getting paychecks in Korea. I put almost all of my spare money into paying off about $8,000 of credit card debts and about the same amount in remaining student loan. I killed those and I vowed to never fall into debt again. A city sightseeing bus. Christos gets paid bi-weekly. JD says credit card debt is the worst. When you think about it, 19 to 22% interest on average is brutal. That will eat up your finances in no time. In case there's like an absolute emergency and I need to pull a whole bunch of money out of my ass, I do have a credit card with a 20,000 limit, and I also have a line of credit just in case I can't move money into a place where I can get at it right away. And that's kind of like a super duper emergency situation on that. We're at Front Street. Math Doctor says compound interest is a beautiful thing for the lenders. Yeah, you need to make that work in your favor. It's a beautiful thing for you, but your return isn't going to be what their return is. Anyways, we're at Front Street, going north up Simcoe. Lower Simcoe on the right, south of Front. Simcoe to the north. Jenny K says, again, that's very smart. Well, I spent half of my life being not very smart. And if I could go back and talk to me right out of university, I would have done things a whole lot different and been retired by now. I think a lot of people could say that. Howard Charco says, the best move I've ever done is marry an accountant. She wears the pants in the family. It works for me. Smart move, Howard. We've made it to Simcoe Street, so we're going to keep going north here. Maybe we'll take this all the way up to Queen Street. Jenny K says we learn as we get older. We do. Vivian Johnson says you make sure you can pay your credit card at the end of the month or you don't use it. I'm a little proactive on that. As soon as I see a negative balance that is 3 figures, I pay it off, even though I have until the end of the month. But keep in mind, I'm lucky I don't have a mortgage, which some may consider unlucky, but my monthly carrying costs aren't that big. So we are at Wellington Street. We're in the entertainment district. I say we because I'm assuming you're there with me, but it's really just me. 876 Reacts says, what's some changes you would have made financially? Well, I would have opened a TFSA the first day it was available, although I guess I was overseas at the time. But it still took me a few years to open one when I got back. And I would have thrown every single penny I had in there. So there's that. I probably wouldn't have leased a brand new car when I was like 24. A brand new $35,000 car, yeah, that's necessary. Maybe not have played golf every weekend at a nice course while I was only making 40K. Sorry. No worries. Oh, that guy. I thought he was talking to me for a second. He was literally right in my ear when he said, "Oh shit, Micah." That's why he said sorry. Howard Charco says his son did the same. His daughter-in-law is also an accountant. Smart. Christo says leasing a car is crazy unless it's through work. Well, I did it on the last week of December. I got it from GM. They were quite desperate at the time to get rid of inventory. So I got it with no down payment. And I had a GM student discount that was like $4,000 that could be applied to the lease. So it ended up being a pretty good deal. It was a 4-year lease for like $290 a month plus tax. And then when I moved downtown a few years later, I just put it up on Lease Busters and someone took it off my hands right away. He couldn't believe it. So I guess it wasn't the end of the world, but I already had a car that worked. I just fell into that trap of, hey, let's get a new car because I can. Loverboy. lighthouse. Vivian says that's what young people do until they learn. Max Webster. Michael Pagliaro. Rough Trade. Platinum Blonde. Hey, there's my future square coming soon. The Johnny Stride Square. Not. So we've made it to King. King and Simcoe. There's St. Andrew's Church. We're going to wait for the light. And we shall cross. Espero says you're getting your new gaming PC today. If UPS doesn't slap a notice on the door again claiming I wasn't waiting for his ass, that is the worst feeling in the world. I live in a building and sometimes that note gets slapped in the lobby just on the wall and it's like, what the hell? I was home all day. I got the notice, delivery is on its way. And I wait patiently and your lazy ass doesn't even bother to bring it up to my door. Now I gotta wait for you to try the same thing again the next day. And in my experience, FedEx is the absolute worst at that. But we'll take this up to Queen. All right, Denise, enjoy getting back to work. Speaking of bad experiences, last Monday I called Rogers to get rid of a data-only plan I had. I had a SIM card that was only data, but I never used it. And they gave it to me when I signed up for my current plan as like a promotional offer. They're like, hey, here's a tablet plan. It's completely free. I was like, okay, I don't really want this. And then I noticed my bill was $17 more last month. And I'm like, what the hell? And it turns out that plan expired and I was paying for it. So I called Rogers and asked them to remove it. And the girl said, okay, put me on hold for like 20 minutes. And she's like, I'm having a computer problem. Can you call back and do it with someone else? And I was like, no. I just invested a whole lot of time in this call. How about you call me back when you're ready and you do it? And she said, okay, I'll call you back. And I was like, can you just remove it and leave me a voicemail that it's been removed? And she was like, okay. Guess what? That did not happen. So yesterday I called back, waited forever on hold, and the guy spent like an hour talking to me, and I could barely understand him. I don't know if he had marbles in his mouth or if he just learned English yesterday. And he spent the whole time trying to sell me other plans. I'm like, no, I have a plan. I want to keep it. Get rid of the data plan. And I gave him the phone number for the data plan. Then he puts me on hold for 20 minutes and comes back and tells me, okay, sir, I've canceled your plan. And then he gave me the phone number of the plan that I used that I didn't want to cancel. I was like, that's not what I asked you to cancel. You better not have canceled my main plan. So then I had to get on hold for like 20 minutes for him to undo and reverse everything. Talk about the height of incompetence. And I ended up with like a $33 credit on my plan. I don't even know how that came to be, but it still shows that I have this stupid data plan. So I'm going to wait to the next bill, and if that doesn't drop off, I guess we do the whole song and dance again. But that was, it's just so stupid. All I want to do is get rid of this one plan. Why do I have to spend hours and hours talking to multiple people? And they don't even get the message right and try to cancel my normal plan. Mark D says, I hate Rogers. Lee says there's people here in banks applying for credit cards to pay off their other credit cards. Hopefully they have some kind of debt transfer at low or no interest. Michelle says Rogers has the worst customer service. We just got our cable and home internet to tell us about $95 cheaper than Rogers. Good for you. Yeah, my advice is have no loyalty to these big communication companies or banks. They're only looking out after them, so you should only look out after you. I canceled TD Bank after being with them for 25 years. I never benefited one bit from that relationship. One day AI will replace all these client calls. Well, if it gets to the point where it does a better job than the current people, I won't complain too much. But I have a feeling that's not the case. Autumn says Rogers is crooked. Rogers is one of the worst. You don't need to tell me that. On a positive note, Bell Fiber has been pretty good. And they've kept my introductory offer for well past its expiry, only because I threatened to go elsewhere, even though I'm not going to. Sorry to hear that, Jenny. So we're gonna go north up to Queen. A huge thanks to all 350 of you for tuning in. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell to be notified when I go live next. I do these morning or daytime lives about once a week. Normally it's late afternoon, evening with the odd night stream. Doug says I was paying $50 for Rogers and suddenly it changed to $112, but there's an option to apply get the discount. They get a lot of seniors with that. All right, Lee. Thank you for tuning in. Enjoy your day, sir. There's some Ontario Line station action going in. Oh, that sucks, Jenny K. Mark D likes Bell Fiber. Yeah, if you have their actual fiber, it is ridiculously fast. I have 3 gigabytes up and down. And I pay about $60 a month for that. But Bell are little shits because they call it Fibe. And they brand their non-fiber as Fibe just to confuse people. I imagine there's a lot of parents arguing with their kids, but we have fiber. It's like, no, we don't. All right, University looks like there's a lot of people on it. Let's just take University up to College and then see which way the wind blows us. One thing you'll notice with university back in session, live streams at this hour do get about 100 less views than normal. It's a lot more people in school during the daytime. It's a big chunk of our viewer demographic. Just in case you're wondering where everyone is, it's very common at this time of year. We're quite spoiled in the summertime. There's the Canada Life building on the left. And I can see that if I check my viewer demographics, that age group is the one that's down. It's always in September and October. Who do I bank with now, Johnny? You hate TD and RBC. I do not use a bank. Greetings, Lisa. I have Simply as a backup. It's no fees. I just got a checking account with them and a line of credit. But I use Wealthsimple for everything else. Jenny K says, PSA, if you are out and about for a while longer, crossing guards and buses should be out soon. Yeah, as soon as the elementary schools start nearing the end of the day. A lot of crossing guards appear to protect the kids from these 2,000-pound metal boxes. JD, I don't know the exact percent. I showed off the stats for the Stumbles channel on my last live stream. But I'll do a Strides from Home stream at some point. And we'll go into the stats and that sort of thing. Maybe I'll prepare for that a little better than I did the last one. But it is a beautiful day. Christos finds CIBC to be decent. Hey, good job, cop, not parking in the bike lane. I wonder if they're attending the U.S. consulate on the left. All right, Jenny. Happy crossing guarding, is that how you would say it? But thanks for joining in, Jenny. Have an excellent rest of your afternoon. "876 Reacts" says, do I have an accountant or do I do it myself? Oh, I bungle things up all on my own. The first year I did YouTube, I had an accountant. The first time I did it full time. Just because I didn't know what the hell I was doing. Do I need to incorporate? How do I file my taxes? How do I claim a trip versus all my other stuff? But once I learned how to do it, I just do everything through Simple Tax. And keep a spreadsheet and copies of receipts and everything on the side. Makes things nice and easy come tax time. So this is Dundas Street coming up. There'll be a mural of Terry Fox coming up just on the left. And there's been a bit of a push to rename Dundas Square after Terry Fox. The very square we spent $3 million just renaming to something stupid. Greetings, Whitby Dude. Alright, a week ago I did a daytime live stream with Orient Gent and we went along Dundas. So let's not do that in this one. We'll keep going straight. Maxine saw, or is asking, who saw System of a Down? It was so much better than you thought it would be. That's awesome. Glad you had a great time. It's always good when a live act exceeds expectations. Greetings, Brad Palmer. I saw the little one appear in a video. His name is Bobby, if I'm not mistaken. Looks like you have an excellent new addition to the family, Brad. And there's a look to the south. As we wait, oh, there we got the light. We enter an area known as Hospital Row. That guy in front of me is bopping along to some tunes. Oh, he stopped. He was doing the dance walk thing. Johnny B says Toronto was a must for awesome concerts growing up. I think it still is. But it's a shame those concerts are so damn expensive these days. But yeah, being kind of the biggest city in all of the land, it'll tend to attract most of the major acts that decide to make their way up to this part of the continent. In fact, there's a lot of tours where Toronto is the only international stop. And a lot of American bands travel their own country. Mark D asking if Brad has recovered from his hike. Lisa says, so expensive. Whatever happened to the days of just going to Sunrise Records in the morning that tickets went on sale, lining up and getting tickets for like $30? I got Smashing Pumpkins tickets that way. That's how I got my first ever concert tickets to the Foo Fighters. My brother dragged me to Dixie Value Mall and we lined up at a Sunrise Records before it opened. We were like 5th or 6th in line. I think each store just got an allocation of tickets to sell. Now you gotta go online and fight a bunch of bots who are gonna scoop up all the tickets right away. All right, Brittany S., hi to you. Thank you for joining in. Lisa misses that. Just some dude with long hair who looks like he'd rather be on his couch with his hand in a box of Fruit Loops, ordering up some concert tickets for you on his computer. Colin M misses queuing up 5 hours for concert tickets. I think ironically people would rather do that today than the current system. Hey, concert tickets go on sale at 9 a.m. Refresh. Oh look, the website doesn't work. Refresh, refresh, refresh. Oh look, I am 5 millionth online in this queue. Wait a few hours. Hey, I'm next. Oh no, tickets are all gone. Then you go on like StubHub and see they're already selling for 3 times the price. There's the dude. Lisa says not much for collecting things these days, but you kept those. I think I have all my original concert stubs as well. I have some sporting events too. They're just in a box and somehow they still fade quite a bit. A Matthew Lynn Guthrie film, followthesilence.com. The hidden story of the human cost of censorship. Santa Monica Film Festival, or Santa Monica International Film Festival. I just learned of a new documentary. And this is the western terminus of Girard Street West. Lisa says you've left meetings early to buy concert tickets. I mean, you don't just queue up on your phone or laptop from within the meeting. Crystal says the best concert you ever saw was Eric Clapton in the 90s in Hamilton. Must have been a Cops Coliseum show. I remember my brother went and saw Guns N' Roses there. I think that was in the 90s. These are these new bike lanes that are wide enough to accommodate an ambulance, which is quite handy given that we're on Hospital Row. It's a lot easier for a person on a bike to jump out of the way than a person driving a vehicle. And this is College. And you know what? I need a beverage. I've got 30% battery, we're good. I'm just gonna take a little pit stop here for a second. Got my Yeti cooler. Thank you, Medano. Still using it. It's not so cold that the drink will stay cold in my backpack without it. And as someone whose worst nightmare is a cold or a warm drink, it's certainly handy to have. We're gonna have a Selection Blackberry sparkling water. So let me have a few sips here. We'll get up and moving in a moment. Lisa says it's an in-person meeting. Kaylee Bird says, hey, your show is on. Julian says, any plans for dinner tonight, Johnny, my boy? Nope. Whippy Dude says, surprise, Doug Ford hasn't targeted them. Oh, but he has. Oh, but that piece of shit has very much so targeted these. Oh shit, Powell time? Yep. We're gonna find out just how fucked we are. Powell is about to drop the hammer on the news and the rate cut. And as long as line go up, everyone will be happy. I'm a guy that does walks.
You're the guy, the Toronto guy, man.
One of them, yeah.
Yeah. Nice to meet you. I watch your videos.
Nice to meet you too.
On YouTube all the time, man. Yeah.
Yeah, we're live right now.
You guys are live, yeah. Shout out Toronto Moto Squad. It's my motorcycle group. Toronto Moto Squad on Instagram. But I didn't come up to you to say that.
It's cool. It's all
I
good.
just came to say hi, man. Can I get a photo of you?
Yeah, sure. What's your name?
Rich.
Rich.
Sir.
Well, nice to meet you, Rich. Okay, well, rocking the Galaxy Ultra.
Sir. Sorry, I just gotta close this map.
It's all good.
You will only be able to join us
Get a selfie. Yeah. All right, man. I don't want to hold you up, man.
Well, it's
Take
nice
care,
to meet
man.
you.
Yeah,
Cheers.
take care, yeah.
Rich. The Toronto Moto Sports Club, Moto Club, Moto something. Friendly dude. Yeah, Howard, that was kind of nuts. The light plane that crashed in East York. Well, it had a controlled crash landing. And the lady who was at the helm of that plane must be a hell of a good pilot. There were 3 on board. And somehow in East York, she found a place where she could bring it down. And was able to do that without any serious injuries. So kudos to her. Apparently, it was a mechanical failure. There's so much bad news these days. It's nice to know that they all survived. Something very few people survive. I guess smaller planes have a higher mortality rate when they crash, but still. Crystal says people still ride motorcycles. Very cool indeed. Daniela asking, how's the weather? It is beautiful. Absolutely perfect. And the University of Toronto St. George campus is just over there. Great outcome, yes. From what I read, it was a rental plane. And it was no fault of the pilots. When you think of the odds of you falling out of the sky in a metal box, surviving, definitely got to feel a little bit lucky when you wake up the next day. Roy Halladay, a Blue Jays pitcher, died in a single plane crash, quite tragically. We all know about Kobe and his daughter in the helicopter. All right, now we are on College Street. Named that after King's College. Hey, Toronto's doo-wop music guys here. So did Stevie Ray Vaughan, your guitar idol? Yeah, I think countless celebrities have perished that way. Howard says, hope she had insurance. That probably comes with the rental. I can't imagine they're going to release you with a plane if it wasn't insured properly. I gotta fix something here. Just one sec. Espero, I know Roy Halladay was on a substance and he did it to himself. That doesn't make it any less tragic. He didn't endanger or take anyone else out. And he left behind a family. And that plane Halladay was flying was like a prototype plane, I think, that was given to him. Yeah, that'll happen if you leave your bike unattended for too long, sadly. Don't do that if you expect to have your bike back. Alright, there goes the can into the recycling. Honk, honk, honk. Hey, Mike Landry 2 is here. Greetings, Mike Landry 2. Gonna wait for the lights. This is Elizabeth Street. So next time I go live, probably Friday evening or Friday nights. I'm not really sure. Sunday on the Johnny Stumbles channel, most likely at 8 p.m. Do head over there. Subscribe and hit the bell if you want to be notified when. Or don't if you don't. It's all good. I have a confession though. At the end of Monday's live stream, I finished up at a Harvey's and I had an Angus combo. Well, I had that last night as well. I was just thinking, what am I going to get for lunch on my way home? And part of me was like, go to Harvey's. as the whole world turns its attention to Jerome Powell speaking right now. Greetings, Greg. Greg Hibers. Did I say it right? Let's go escape into College Park. Maybe I'll get some hot dogs from IKEA for lunch. Sounds like a healthy lunch, doesn't it? Lisa says, I don't know how you eat the same shit so often and not get sick of it. Sometimes I get the fries, sometimes I get the salad. Last night I was a little wild and I got the onion rings. Rain says the Fed cut the rates by 25 basis points. All I have to do is go refresh my TFSA right now and I'll see if that had a good or bad impact on things. Although that's mostly just retailer investors reacting. I'm sure all the big guns were already in the know and well prepared. Let's see. Hey, it just went down a whole lot. That's the initial knee-jerk reaction. But it's only down 1% on the day. That's not... We'll have to see how things play out over the coming days. As we walk into College Park, which is all fenced off. Hey, what are they doing here? This patch of the park here has always been a bit of a nightmare. If it ever rains, it just turned into a big mud pit. They just could not keep this grass in a nice state ever. So this could be a reaction to that. Perhaps a more permanent type of landscaping. If you ever walk through this park, you know exactly what I mean. This is just a giant mud bowl for much of the year. And on dry days, it would just be dirt with a few little blades of grass sticking out. Map of events. Boring. Map of boring events that suck. Someone needs to Sharpie this part out. There's some benches, but as we look up at Aura. Yeah, in the winter this is an ice rink. Daniel says, as per the City of Toronto, the city is replacing the grass at the north entrance of College Park with artificial turf and adding new plantings and seating. Well done. It's about time they got rid of that grass. It was super hard to maintain, and a lot of people would probably just use it to cut across. But I am starving. So I want to thank everyone for tuning into this one. I'm going to go get some lunch, possibly from IKEA. I don't know if I'm going to have their hot dogs or their meatballs or what. But IKEA is right in front of me. I want to thank our mods, Patreon supporters, and channel members, and just everyone who tuned in. If you want to be notified when I go live next, do hit that bell. If you want to support me, there's links to Patreon and all that stuff below. There's PayPal, Bitcoin, you name it. Jeanette had to step away. Your boss called another impromptu Teams meeting. I hope I didn't miss too much. Well, you missed me save a baby from a burning building, and then I had to wrestle a grizzly bear with my bare hands, but wasn't too much of an issue for me. Sorry, Jeanette, you missed a lot of the fun, and that stuff will not be available on the live stream replay. It's been replaced by just some guy walking up university and along college doing nothing interesting. Sorry, Jeanette, but you got to pay the price if you step away. Novell Koss, Brad Palmer, Mike Landry 2, DGA Bit, Greg Hybers, Lisa, Vivian, Medano, Marge, JD, and everyone else. Thank you so much for watching. There should be a premiere tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. EST. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you, Mel. Yoink.